You are a big figure and you are a big personality, and some in your own party would say that you're a complete control freak.
That's 1 minute to air, Newsnight.
Kirsty Wark is in Londonderry.
With its sectarian division and its bloody history, the mood of Derry tonight is as good a guide to any as to what people in Northern Ireland are feeling after this rollercoaster week. This morning we're going to witness the symbolic start to a new chapter in Scotland's history, and indeed the history of the United Kingdom. Doesn't this underline the belief that Scots' views are not taken into account?
Absolute nonsense.
You have President Trump appropriating Rocket Man to poke fun at Kim Jong-un. What did you make of that?
I don't care.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Newsnight is here in Finland, Warsaw, Taipei, Belfast, Washington, Berlin, Sri Lanka, Scotland,
Boston. Kirsty's there.
Well, welcome to a very noisy convention hall in Boston, hence the fetching headphones.
Do you think peace in Burma is unattainable?
We can achieve political peace, if you like, national peace, but absolute peace will have to be worked out for himself or herself.
In the aftermath of the attacks, there was the idea that nothing would ever be the same again in culture and society, and that things would change for the better. You tried to counsel President Bush not to call it a war on terror.
I did.
You thought that was wrong.
I lost. He decided to call it that.
The only way that you could invade Iraq was if you were absolutely certain. The only legal basis was that you certainly had WMD, not an intention.
How many times have we been over this argument?
Good evening. Dunblane today suffered one of the most appalling acts of mass murder ever witnessed in this country. In the last hour, there are reports of many dead in Paris and several major suspected terror attacks in the city. Tonight, Bill Clinton speaks for the first time since Nelson Mandela's death.
When he smiled at you, if you looked in his eyes, you knew he was not just smiling, he was looking in your soul.
With some strong language, Newsnight, now on BBC Two, with Kirsty Wark.
Thank you.
Somebody talk to me, for Christ's sake!
Well, she's all you'd ever want. She's the kind that like to flaunt and take to dinner. But she always knows her place. She's got style, she's got grace. She's a winner.
Tell me, your attitude to women.
My what?
Yes. Let's look at this image of the bikini-clad woman in a jet engine. Do you really think that's appropriate for an airline? Do you think that's the way to attract people to your airline?
I think there's many ways of attracting people to our airline. We do lots of different ads. I'm not responsible for all the ads that go out there. But if we
but you're responsible for the tone of the company. If a no deal looms, you'll do anything you can to avoid that.
I'm committed to making sure that we avoid no deal.
Even if that means resigning as a minister.
Kirsty, as I say, there's lots of moving parts at the moment. I'm just going to carry on trying to make my point in my words.
But you don't rule out resigning if you have to.
As I say, I'm going to wait and see.
Boris Johnson, in the ITV debate, consistently refused to rule out proroguing Parliament if he thought that was the only way to deliver Brexit. Is he right to do that?
I myself don't believe any Prime Minister would choose to prorogue Parliament.
Today, Boris Johnson asked the Queen to prorogue Parliament. He's brought a flanker. You talked about being at home as a teenager, desperately listening on the top 40 for your Beatles song and your Kinks song. So what was the Kinks song?
You really got me.
So what is your name?
Yorgos Kyriakou Panayotou is my real name.
And do you ever...
Snappy little pop name.
Do you ever pick up the phone and say, this is...
No.
No. For someone whose body has very much been part of their work, what do you think about your body now? Do you have a new respect for its resilience?
Well, I'm tough. I didn't know how tough I was. And when you've been through like what I went through. It's like being in a plane crash and getting up and walking away. And when that happens, you're so grateful for life, for every single moment.
When you see what is happening to women in Afghanistan, education and so forth, when you see what's happening in Iran, does it hurt your heart?
At my age? What hurt? It offends my sense of fairness and justice.
Prime Minister, indeed you talked about having won an election throughout the United Kingdom in the last 3 elections. But in fact, the Tory vote has consistently gone down in Scotland in each election.
Yes, and I hope that it will go up in the next one.
Because of government restrictions, we cannot let you hear Mr McGuinness's voice. His words are read by an actor. I asked him why he had denied that he'd initiated the offer of peace.
There's not a person in the country who believes what John Major said tonight.
Is there any other job in the Cabinet you'd like to do apart from being Chancellor?
I'm not going to be drawn into that. I'm happy doing the job that I'm doing. Life
Come
that
on,
I've had.
come on. Would you like to be...
Tackling unemployment's been the big issue.
Would you like to be Prime Minister?
Kirsty.
So how about you? What about an ambassadorship to the US?
No. Thank you very much.
Would you do a deal with Theresa May?
No.
Are you sure that Jeremy Corbyn voted to remain?
Absolutely sure.
Has he told you that?
That's an absurd question.
Just time to go on with some bedtime reading. We'll be back tomorrow night. Until then, good night. I am now cooking, very quickly, some linguine with spicy tomato sauce and mussels.
Kirsty, you've been a legend in British journalism for more than 3 decades. Tough but fair and always exceptionally smart. I wish you the very best of luck, and I'm sure you'll carry on doing great things.
To say you are a broadcasting titan, obviously across the UK, but particularly here in Scotland, would be an understatement. It's hard to imagine that landscape without you. I had my very, very first interview experience with you when I was just 17 or 18 years old. I was in awe of you then, and it's fair to say that hasn't really changed.
We all owe a special thanks to Kirsty Wark, who's been a pathbreaker in British journalism. She's an interviewer who's asked the searching questions, a documentary maker whose originality has given us new insight into the big issues of the day, and always a broadcaster who enhanced our knowledge of current affairs. Thank you, Kirsty.
To finish these off, I'm going to add a little bit of tin tomatoes.
Kirsty, many congratulations on over 3 decades presenting Newsnight. You have questioned us, quizzed us, held us to account, and often terrified us. But a great record. Many congratulations. Now you're retiring, but you can always retire after a long career and then make a comeback. Best wishes. Well done with everything.
Brilliant. I'm going to put my linguine in here.
Hi Mum, congratulations on your last day at Newsnight. I know how hard it's going to be for you to leave the programme and the team that you love so much, but I'm so proud of you and the amazing career that you've had there. And thank you for being the best mum in the world alongside that.
Okay, and I'm going to mix this up in like so.
Mum, a huge congratulations on an incredible run of over 30 years at Newsnight. My entire life you've been on this programme, and it's been such a pleasure to watch you work and such an inspiration to me and my sister.
Pop a little into the plate.
Working with Kirsty, the most important thing about her, I think, is her incredible enthusiasm. I mean, she really is the Scottish Tigger.
I am going to give Yung Chang a little linguine with mussels.
Oh,
spicy.
Of all the things I admire the most, it's the very gentle and conversational way that you can ask a difficult and pertinent question. You do that better than anyone. You've been an inspiration to a lot of us.
The entire team just adores you. You are the Queen of Newsnight, and we love you and we wish you well.
You are an incredible journalist, an amazing woman, and it was wonderful to find out that you are also a complete laugh. We are going to miss you.
And if that's left you lacking in festive cheer, you could take comfort in the return of everyone's favourite nanny on the big screen tonight. Sleep well. Good night.
Walk on.